Sometimes you just gotta shake it up. You know, choose a different meal when you go out to eat. Take the long way to work. Take some time to meditate. Or kill someone with an exploding hammer instead of a gun. You gotta find ways to keep things funky fresh, you know? I mean, what if your occupation in history was literally killing people? Must have gotten boring killing people the same way all the time. And for a healthy workplace, you gotta shake it up. I mean, you have a sit-stand desk. Soldiers have this thing. Guns and normal swords are too boring. This thing is a way better way to rip a man from his family and loved ones. Such fun! I mean, look at this thing. That's exciting. Sure, with this thing you lose the practicality of being able to, you know, like, carry your weapon. But, and hear me out, if I'm a soldier, just not chilling on the battlefield, and I see some guy pointing this thing at me, I'd be terrified. Look at that thing. But secondly, I mean, I could see why this thing failed, right? Like, these guys have to move in conjunction perfectly together. It looks horribly inefficient. Not that I doubt that these guys aren't wonderfully coordinated. I mean, look at their hats and attire. These guys are not only ready for war, but they're ready to take the stage on a musical act. You know what's boring? Shooting somebody with one bullet. It's what everyone does. Why shoot somebody once when you could shoot them 3 times at once? It's so unnecessary. Is shooting somebody once not enough? Is 3 that much better? Somewhere out there, some guy got shot with a normal ass pistol and was like, "Gah! You're gonna have to do better than that, buddy." To which the man with the gun pulled out this thing and said, "Au contraire, you're f***ed." If you thought that last gun had a big dick, check out this chode. How many even is that? 22! What are you trying to accomplish here? What are you trying to prove? This thing's just trying to blow a giant hole through you. This is scary as hell. Maybe you don't even shoot someone with this. You just point it at them, they're like, have what you want. I give up. You should put that down, because I am shitting myself. Now, if you thought that last one was a chode, I present to you the mother chode. I'm not fully sure how this works. I think you shove a ton of gunpowder at the bottom, and then just whatever you want in the top. And it just sends it somewhere else. Terrifying! You could put knives in this thing and just send them flying. But also, God, it doesn't look that practical, does it? It's very heavy and very short, which means it's definitely not accurate at all, as most chodes aren't. A trend you'll notice here is none of these probably work that well, which is why they didn't catch on. But God, they're terrifying, you know? You know, cannonballs are cool and all, but you know what would be dope? Launching knives. And if that was overly complicated, check this bitch out. This guy right here is for people who can't aim for shit. I mean, guns back in the day weren't that accurate. And maybe you suck. This thing alleviates those. Anyone in that general direction, you're screwed. I don't have to have any skill at all. I just gotta pray that this thing works. But I love the idea that back in the day they were like, you know what's better than shooting once? Shooting a shit ton at once. Shooting everywhere. Who needs to be specific when you're trying to kill? And if the people with the last gun couldn't aim, this one barely aims straight. It aims everywhere, except for straight. If somebody's not that close to you, to be honest, you still might miss. But holy shit, it looks awesome. Now, pretty much all these have been guns so far. But what about melee weapons? You know, what about before guns? Check this thing out. Take a guess as to what this does. Take a guess. If you guessed, pluck a man off his horse and get those spikes around his neck, you were correct. That is exactly what it's for, apparently. Now, according to something I read, this was supposed to, like, attempt to keep them alive, to capture them as prisoners, because they were like, oh, their armor will protect them from the spikes. But, like, if you're ripping somebody off a horse, and there are spikes around your neck, like, how safe is this? This doesn't seem that safe. This seems horrible. And this one, I couldn't even figure out what it does. This is just from a page called African Weapons. I don't even know how this thing could be used. This thing kills too well. As cool as it looks, we gotta try this thing out. How would you kill someone with this, other than just whacking them? Sometimes innovation knows not its bounds. Now, when I was reading about this sword, this one apparently is floppy. So is it like you just... Is that what you're doing? You know, sometimes to innovate, you gotta make something that looks stupid, but is actually awesome. But the risk you run with that is it actually just being stupid. Google Glass. Now war is hell. And I'm not here to try to preach about anything, because I'm just a YouTuber that you're watching at lunch. But one thing that I will say is there are some positives to innovation during times of war, with the exception of everything we just looked at. It turns out that when people are dying, people want to come up with ways to save people from dying. Something about war creates this sense of urgency for innovation, perhaps impending doom. There are innovations from war that aren't about just killing people. Digital cameras are an innovation due to war. Walkie-talkies, ambulances, duct tape, things like canned food. And even the space program was an effort to have an advantage in war that's now pushing humanity to discover things beyond our planet, which is like super cool. It's like a higher purpose to humanity. So, like all things, there's some good and bad, I guess. If that helps you sleep at night. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You haven't subscribed yet, have you? I don't love it when YouTubers are like being all pushy about subscribing, but also if you don't mention it at all, people just will ignore it. I don't know, if you like this video at all, if you're still here, maybe you like it enough to subscribe, and that would actually help me out a lot. So, you know, do it if you want, but if you don't want, just leave me alone. But actually don't, please don't leave me alone. Please don't leave me. I literally depend on you watching my stuff on YouTube. Yeah, that's the end of the video. Bye.